Hey everybody, Brian Beckcom here, and I have got a good friend of mine and also one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitors in the world, a two-time world champion right now, the defending world champion NoGi, Mr. Pedro Marinho. Pedro, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm good, Brian. Thanks for the words, and I'm excited to have this talk today.
For sure. And Pedro, before we get started, I want to tell you something that I've never told you before. But it's kind of important for me to tell you. And before I tell you this, I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way. You're one of the coolest, nicest, toughest guys I've ever met in my life. And I've had a chance. I was actually last night. I was with my son Gus, who and he asked me. He said, "Hey, Dad, when did I first start training jiu-jitsu?" And I said, well, we took a picture that day so I can scroll through my pictures. Anyway, I was scrolling through my pictures and I found my very first class. And I actually have a video is with you, man. So
I remember.
Yeah, but in any event, Pedro, you are one of the most positive, optimistic people I've ever met. You've almost always got a smile on your face. And I just want to say thank you for being the kind of person you are.
Appreciate all the words, man. And I have a great people around me. Always the thing that I can kind of give back, for all the good things people, help on this journey is just be a good person and, spread what have the good in the world.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about one of the things that I think is fair to say is very important in your life is your faith. And we're going to talk about that quite a bit. But before we get started with some of your thoughts on jiu-jitsu, some of your thoughts on leadership, things like that, there'll be a lot of people that are listening to this podcast who know exactly who you are, but there will also be people who don't know who you are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you ended up in the United States? Who is Pedro Marinho?
Hey, Pedro Marinho is a guy from Angra dos Reis, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. I started training kind of jiu-jitsu when I was 17 to 18 years old. I started just for hobby on my city. I always was active kid. I always did a lot of surf, play soccer, did all these sports, but I get in love with jiu-jitsu when I started. It was a different thing for me. And since then, I think the first time that I did jiu-jitsu, I can say, man, how I'm going to be able to do this every day, and work with. And in 2017, I was training already 2 years with my first professor. And in 2017, I moved to Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, in Brazil, another city, 12 hours of my city, to start training with Professor Felipe Preguiça. He's one of the best guys ever in Jiu-Jitsu. And I stayed 2 years there with him, learning a lot. And then I received the opportunity to come to United States from Professor Piano to stay 3 months. And these 3 months become 3 years already. And it was like this. And I'm happy to be in America. I think I had a lot of opportunities to show my love for jiu-jitsu and my love for fighting.
What was it like growing? Because you did not grow up wealthy. You did not grow up in a wealthy family. What was the name of the town you grew up in? Will you say that again?
Angra dos Reis.
Angra dos Reis.
Yeah,
I'm totally messing that up. What was it like?
It's a famous place. We have a lot of beaches, islands. It's have 36 islands. One for each day of the year. It's a famous about that.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's pretty.
Yeah. And I've heard stories that